Delcam for SOLIDWORKS has added B-axis control for turn mill applications, which will greatly expand your turn mill capabilities. Milling features are created easily based on the B angle of the feature itself, and for turning, both B-axis angle and rotational orientation of turning tools can be controlled. I have a part here that's already been programmed to a certain degree. If I go look at my Delcam Manager, you can see a face, a turn, and this turn mill hole feature on the front of the part. We'll run that 3D sim. You can see what we have so far. The first thing I'll do is go in and create the B-axis milling operations. So I'll go to New Feature, make sure my milling tab is active, and go to Face. I'll face off these two angled faces first. Okay, I'm going to do both of them, so I will pin this open. The first face I'll do is this face right here. And as soon as I click it, you can see that DFS has determined what that stock or what that tool axis is, and it is also therefore defined my B angle. I'm going to mill the face outer loop, and I don't really have anything to select for thickness, so I've typed in 15 millimeters as an offset for thickness. Okay, and I'll create the second face feature likewise, and that's ready to go. So I'll unpin that and I'll click OK. Now I have both face features, and I get my tool path. And if I look at my code right here and I scroll down toward the bottom, I should see a B angle defined. Might take me a second to find it. Here it is, 30 degrees. So it got that for me just right off the model. Okay, I'll do a couple more milling features here. New feature, from a feature, and again I'm under milling. Okay, I'll pick that pocket right there, and that is a cut extrude. So I'll pin this open and see what else I can find. I'll go ahead and accept that. Again, look at the tool axis angle there. The yellow arrow, that's perfect. Okay, and I'll pick the one over here. Now you'll notice that when I clicked it, it found the first one again, and that's not what I want to do. And this is either a mirrored feature or it's a circular pattern, and we don't support those, so that's why this selection didn't work. So I'll clear that selection. You can do this a different way for this pocket. I'll do it as a side. And again, this will give me a chance to show you how smart DFS is when it comes to the B-axis angle. I'll click OK. I'll select edges, and as soon as I click my plane, it knows what that B angle is. I'll right click and select tangency to get my profile and pick the bottom. There you see the yellow tool axis direction. The machining side is good, and OK. So it has found this quite easily. Even though I couldn't use the feature for both, I could easily create that tool path. Finally, I'll do the holes. So new feature. Once again, I'll try from a SOLIDWORKS feature. OK. Don't need to pin that open. I'll find this hole here. And this does find L4, which is good. So I'll go ahead and click OK. Okay, so as far as B-axis positioning, it's extremely easy to do this. And DFS does a lot of the work for me as far as finding those B angles. Now we'll move over to turning. And if you look carefully at this part, I'm going to do a cutaway view here. Like so. Okay. And let's isolate this turn feature right here because I have an undercut. My front view. And I'll run a centerline simulation. So single step this. Here comes my tool. It's a 55-degree diamond, and it's just not quite enough angle to get into that undercut. The tool itself, the insert itself, is plenty, this angle is plenty sharp where I could get in there if I had the tool at a different angle. So that's what I can do now. I can control this B angle. So stop that simulation. And I will go into here. Actually, I want to go into the operation itself and select the tool. And because I have a B-axis post active, I have this button right here which allows me to set the B-axis tool orientation. And you can see here that right now it looks like an OD turning tool. I can set it as an ID boring bar, and you see how it pivots the tool, and I can give it any kind of orientation I want within that boring bar selection. Or I can go with neutral, where I can define sort of manually the B-axis angle and tool rotation angle. So I'm going to guess something like, let's call it 80 degrees, see what that does. Okay, that looks pretty good. I could also spin this tool around if necessary. That's not really what I want to do here. And I'll click OK. Let's see how this looks. Alright, so far so good. Okay. Now if I get right here and turn on, or I should say go to a hidden line visible display, or wireframe, you'll see that I'm still not quite getting it all. This isn't quite enough of an angle, so I need to adjust it a little more. I'll stop that, go back in here, and let's try something like 72. We'll come in a bit of a sharper angle. Now you might not want to rough this way. It depends on your application. I'm just showing you the capability we have. Okay, let's check out the finish tool, make sure that's still doing a good job. So select tool, go to neutral, and we'll change it to 72 degrees as well. Okay, now let's see what we have. Okay, now the tool comes in at a bit of a steeper angle, and it is enough to get in there and cut that profile cleanly and get all of that undercut. So I have complete control over what the B-axis does here. And finally, the finished pass has cleaned that all up. Okay, so putting it all together, I'll go back to my full view, I'll go back to shaded, turn all the features back on, and take a look at 3D simulation. Okay, so there's the entire part completely machined using the B-axis orientation.